Red Edition, welcome, happy day. Hey, I got something profound. Here it comes. Are you ready? What this country needs is more unemployed politicians. Hey, just saying. Let me start today, past that start at least, with answers to a couple of questions that we've had recently by email. Here's number one. Where do you shoot your shows? Well, years ago, when I was rich for a while, I was called eccentric then. I'm poor now. I'm just called crazy. But in any event, when I was rich back then, I built a cowboy town, and we're still in that town as we speak. The studio is inside that hillbilly heaven. Number two, you say that you will never ever run for public office. I do not believe you. Why do you do these shows otherwise? Well, please do believe me. I've been doing this show for 5 years, and it's kind of my event, I guess, but I'm hoping to help a little bit because most press is left wing, and I'm looking to add a right wing perspective, and I do promise you will never run for public office. And you know what? I can tell you the truth because I don't need to lie to you. I don't want anything from you. I don't want your vote, and I don't need your money. So I'm doing this to help my country. It's about me. So then it's easier and less complicated for me when I go out and try to get rich again, right? Just say it again. Birth control. How do you go from politics to birth control? Hey, work with me here. In Canada, every province except two received shipment after shipment of birth control pills, and guess what? They don't work. Oops, there's a whole bunch of pregnant women now that said, this isn't what I signed up for. How did this happen? Two provinces that said that would be Saskatchewan and Alberta. The shipments didn't arrive in those provinces, and it's kind of too bad because they're the only provinces that could afford to pay for new kids anyway. Now, the mainstream media in America has painted George Zimmerman as being a bad guy and a racist for over a year now, so it's a little hard for the public to accept that once it got to court and the facts were seen, that within days it was clear that Zimmerman was the good guy in all of this. And now you have the President of the United States who has waded into this thing, and he's just taken away any credibility that the justice system ever had. He says this the day after the Zimmerman verdict was handed down. He said, let's have a Trayvon Martin Day to honor him and to tell ourselves, or ask ourselves rather, is this all we're doing? Can we do more to stem the tide of gun violence? Somehow or another he's turned this into a gun agenda. That's terrible. Then he goes on to say, or actually said about a year ago, if I had a son, he would look like this boy. This boy has been, made out to be a nice young boy, when in fact he's been charged numerous times for numerous offenses, and he did a lot of thuggery kinds of things. Anyway, it's a long story. You all know the story because it's in the press all of the time now, but it's a travesty. The justice system in this case works. I mean, in most cases it works, but certainly you don't need the President of the United States saying, hey, we've been undermined, this is bad. It's a racist thing, and they're playing the card, and it's a sad day. Canada, British Columbia. Recently they had a amnesty there, 30-day amnesty for guns, and 1,800 firearms and 31,000 rounds of ammunition were collected. I've wondered about this a lot, and I think a lot of the people that hand guns in are widows of veterans and gun collectors and people that they die. The ladies are older and they don't know what to do, and they read in the paper there's an amnesty and they turn the guns in. I get that. It's just too bad that a gun dealer didn't advertise right below the amnesty ad to say, we'll buy your guns, because a lot of neat guns here are being destroyed. It's heartbreaking. There's a Civil War musket from America that's in British Columbia, Canada, that's being destroyed by the RCMP. They do a lot of bad things. I'd call that bad. Ottawa, Canada. Recently they said, we're going to have another First Nations area in Canada, and y'all can sign up now if you think you're an Indian. And they were expecting 10,000 sign-ups, and 103,000 people have signed up for membership. And in Canada, it's kind of interesting. There's about 1.2 million people that claim to be Indians, or that are actually, from a legal perspective. Probably more than half of those are not Indians. I mean, there's red-headed people, blonde people. I know a couple, for instance, that are both blonde. They have blonde children. They claimed Indian status and applied for it. They got it. And these people have money, and their kids get free university, free dental, free everything, and guess who pays for it? That'd be you. It's just not fair. And I confronted them and said, why are you doing that? And they said, well, everybody else does. Not very nice, is it? In any event, you even have the First Nations people here, the Aboriginal Affairs and Northern Development people, saying this, hey, you guys, this is incredible. You're undermining the integrity of the Indian movement. Are you ever? I mean, it's too bad Canada didn't have a government that was in control, so they could control a situation that's out of control. That would be the Indian situation, just saying. Let me say this. It was about 12,000 years ago that Indians apparently discovered Canada. North America, but Canada for this example. And during that entire period, they never discovered the wheel, they never had a written language, they never discovered anything about the stars, you know. They had no science or scientific discoveries, they had no mathematics, they had no medical discoveries, they had no music or written music, they had no mechanical devices, they possessed nothing that required labor. They made no inventions. You talk about underachievement, that would be them. And now they don't pay any taxes. They get free dental universities and checks and a shirt constantly. And the idea that white people stole the land from them, you know what? That's ridiculous. What really happened is a more advanced and numerous culture invaded and conquered. And did they really win? I don't know about that, because they're always writing checks and paying for people to do other things just because they say, hey, I'm an Indian, give me, and the government gives, and the taxpayer pays. Is that nice? Not so fast and not so nice. Let me end today with a story. There was a man. He drank too much. This particular night, he was really boozing. His wife was a loose woman, right? And he went down to the bar that she used to frequent. He had her at home now, kind of tied up, I guess. Anyway, he went into the bar in a drunken stupor, and he waved a gun around, and he said, who's been sleeping with my wife? And the man at the back of the room yelled out, he says, you don't have enough ammo. Well, come back tomorrow. We're going to have more for you from the right. See ya.